Hello, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying this course so far. In the previous lesson, we learned about rows, columns, and even tables. Now it's time to start working inside Microsoft Excel by entering different types of data. Every spreadsheet begins with data, whether you're creating a student record, an employee payroll, a monthly budget, or an inventory list. The first thing you should do is to enter information into your spreadsheet. In this lesson, you will learn how to enter four common types of data in Excel. We have the data type of text, we have numbers, we have dates, and we have time. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to confidently enter data accurately and understand how Excel recognizes each type of data. Let's get started. What is data? Before we begin, let's first understand what data means. Data simply means any information that is stored on a worksheet. This information varies. It can be information that has to do with names, price of products, phone numbers, date, time, salaries, product name, or even student grades. So without data, Excel cannot perform calculation or create reports. Think of Excel as a smart notebook. The more organized your data is, the more powerful Excel becomes. So let's look at different ways in which we can enter data. So the first data we'll be looking at is with entering text as data. So text data can either be names of people. So I can just go to, for example, cell A1 and I type names. Then on cell, if I click enter, automatically it brings me to the next column, which is cell A2. Then I can start inputting text of names. So I can say, for example, John, enter Zoe, then I can say Sam. So this is me entering text as one type of data that I can put into Excel. And there's how Excel also recognize them. Another type of data I can put into Excel is called numbers. So let's say, for example, I want to get the age of these names or these staffs. So I can then go ahead and put this is 34, 27, and 46. Now, one thing you notice is when I type text as a type of data, Excel automatically recognizes that, oh, this is a text type of data and align the text to the left hand side. So you can see on this cell A1, John is on my left hand side of that box. But when it now gets to number, now immediately I put in number, Excel then understand, oh, this is a number. You so it then change the alignment of that number and align the number into right. So this is way in which Excel is able to differentiate between a text and a number by just giving them two different alignments to say, oh, I recognize this data. This is a text. I also recognize this data. This is a number. Now we've understand how Excel is able to differentiate between a text type of data and a number type of data. So let's look at how Excel is able to then differentiate a date. So let's say I then decide to do this. So let's say, for example, I want to just put the date, the staff or an individual joins a company or a student registered in a school. If I decide to say the student or the staff joins in January 1, 2026. Now, where the problem is if I decide to say January 1, 2026. Now, to you, you think this is a date, but to Excel, this is not a date. This is a text. So Excel does not understand January 1, 2026. So the only way you can make January becomes a date that Excel will understand it is much more better is by putting them in a date format. So example, I can just go ahead and say 01/01/26. Now if I do enter, you can see now this method change. You can see Excel is able to then identify that this is a date. Now the way Excel identify this as a date is the first one is referring to the month, the second one is referring to the day, and the third one is referring to the year. So for example, if I decide to do 02/01/26, so this becomes February 1, 2026, while this becomes January 1, 2026. So if I want it to be February 2, 2026 or February 23, 2026, I can just do 2/23/26. So So this becomes the 23rd day of February 2026. So this how Excel is also able to recognize how data is or how date is. So the next one, which is the last type of data Excel works with, is time. So if I just do probably the time the staff clocked in or the students zoom or came to school, what I can do is to then say, instead of me to say, okay, the student comes 7:30 a.m. Now to you, you think this is a time. This is not a time. This is also a text. So for Excel to recognize that this is a time, I have to tell Excel, see, this thing I'm dealing with is a time. So I have to provide both the hour, the minute, and the second. So in this case, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to then have 07, then 30, then let's say then the second should be, let's just say 45. So this way now, you can see if I come to my formula bar, you can see that Excel is saying, oh, this is now 7:30 a.m. because this is then morning. Now Excel works based on 24-hour clocks. If I want this to be 7 p.m., then I have to then follow the rule that says PM. You can see this is showing me 19:30:45, but in my formula bar, Excel can organize, oh, this is 7:30 p.m. in the evening. So this is how Excel is able to identify the different four types of data we have: the text, the number, date, and also time. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.